This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming on the call. It's greatly appreciated. So the first thing we're going to do is start off with a little bit of housekeeping rules. So if you're calling in from a cell phone or a landline, if you would be so kind as to mute yourself or place yourself in an area where there's not a lot of noise, so that way everyone can hear what I'm saying. And then if anyone else wants to chime in, they can obviously chime in as well. So that's number one. Number two is please understand that everybody on this call can speak up if they choose to. I know a lot of people, they get a little shy, which is okay. Or you can place something in the chat box if you'd like. But however you want to do it is fine. But I want to make sure that everybody that comes on this call has an opportunity to get their questions answered. So let's go ahead and dive in. So obviously, my name is Pascal Mansell, and my primary company is Vanguard Global LLC. So if you all want to, you have the ability to call me up. I do charge for one-on-one consulting or conversations, if you will. But please feel free to give a call, and I can help you out however I can. I'm sorry. So let's see here. Getting back to the credit building masterclass. So credit building masterclass is our new ebook and program. There's different levels of it. So you can get the ebook itself for like 27 bucks, or you can, get the ebook and several of our training videos for $297. And then we have a larger program, which is $5,000, which is a complete coaching program where you get me for an entire year. So not only will you get all of our training videos and material, you'll also be able to contact me for one full year and ask me whatever questions you have. So I want to start off with a couple of, well, let me start off with just this one thing. The first thing that I want everybody on this call to understand is that this call is going to be about personal credit, business credit, and corporate credit. So personal, business, and then corporate. And the reason it's laid out that way is because it's imperative that you get your personal credit right, because that's going to be your foundation. And so when your personal credit is right, then you're going to be able to go out and build and develop business credit. And when you're able to build out business credit, that's when the magic, I hate saying that word, but excuse me, that's when the magic kind of happens, right? Um, Business credit will allow you to grow and expand your entire credit profile without hurting or damaging your personal credit file. So let me take it from the beginning. So we all know what personal credit is, obviously. So personal credit is credit that is granted to you by a credit grantor, and it is based purely on the good standing of your credit file. Now, the other side of the coin is that when you get personal credit, it will report directly to your personal credit file. Now, business credit, on the other hand, is credit that is granted to your business where you or someone else involved in the business is a guarantor. So in other words, along with all of your business information, your tax ID number, and so on and so forth, you're also going to put your information in on the applications, right? So you're also going to put your social security number in there as well. Now, the magic or the good thing about business credit, unlike personal credit, is that as a rule of thumb, when it comes to business credit, you are not going to have that debt showing up on your personal credit file. So in other words, let's say that Chase Inc. business card gives you a credit line of $20,000. The inquiry that was pulled is going to show up on your personal credit file, but the actual debt itself, that $20,000, should not show up on your personal credit file if it is a true business line of credit card. And the magic, I say that word a lot, and I really don't want to say that because it's really no magic to it. But the thing about it that makes it so awesome is that if you were utilizing your personal credit and you were to go out and start establishing like a ton of credit, like a lot of small business people do, they go out and they get all these credit cards and loans, and they get them all directly under their personal credit. And so your personal credit has that ceiling. And so if you get too much credit, what it does is it changes your debt to income ratio. And it does not allow you to grow, but so far. Once, even if you made $100,000 a year, but you're showing, that you have, $50,000 in credit cards, another $25,000 in personal loans, and then you have a car payment, and then you have, rent or a mortgage, then you have just your basic living expenses. Your debt to income ratio is going to be completely out of whack, and no one's going to want to lend to you ever again, right? Until you get all that stuff paid down. So what I like to do is have my clients, when you get to a certain point and you have a nice personal credit file, let's say you're in the 700s, preferably, 720, 725 or above. When you're in that type of position, then what you're able to do is start going after business line of credit cards, because you don't have the same type of ceiling as you do in your personal. Does that make sense to you guys? I hope so. I hope you guys are catching this. So when you're dealing with business line of credit cards, the thing about those is that the inquiry is going to show up on your personal credit file, but the debt is not going to show up on your personal credit file. So you could literally have $100, $200, $300,000 worth of credit cards that, other than the inquiries, that debt is not going to report to your personal credit file unless you let the debt go bad. Now, if you let the debt go bad, then obviously, it's going to report because you're the guarantor. But other than that, you can build as much credit as you want, and it's just not going to show up on your personal credit file. I mean, obviously there are a few exceptions, okay? So, Capital One Spark for Business, that is an exception. They will report to your personal credit file as well. Sometimes they don't, but most often they do. Some of the American Express cards, unless you make sure that you're filling out a business line of credit card, they will also sometimes report to your personal, but usually you can kind of get that straightened out with a phone call. So let's move forward a little bit here. So now that we have a handle on what personal credit is, what business credit is, now we're going to move into corporate credit. Corporate credit is credit that is granted to your business, but is based purely on the good standing of your business. Has absolutely nothing to do with you or anyone else. So we like to go after corporate credit, but the issue with corporate credit is that corporate credit takes a bit of time to build and also money. With business lines of credit, where you're just the guarantor, there is no build process. So if you had a a 700 FICO score, let's say, or a 725 or whatever. And it doesn't have to be just you. Keep this in mind. It could be you or a partner, right? So you or someone else involved in the business or a family member or whomever you want that will become a credit partner with you. If you set up a corporation or an LLC, a legal business entity, what will happen is it will give you the ability in day one to start applying for business line of credit cards. And another thing that's really awesome about business line of credit cards is that business line of credit cards will typically give you more credit than if you were applying for a personal credit card, even with the same institution. So you look at it like this. If you went to, let's say, Chase, and you got a Chase credit card for personal, and hypothetically, let's just say they give you $1,000. Well, when you apply for a business line of credit card with Chase, there is a great chance that they will double, triple, or quadruple whatever they would have given you as a personal. Sometimes, realistically, it can be 10 times more, because the idea is that with business lines of credit, be it credit cards, loans, what have you, a person that's doing business needs more access to capital than a person that's just, going out and doing dinner and buying some jeans or, whatever the case may be. And so they typically will give a person, when they're applying for business credit, a much greater amount of credit, right? And so we always want to keep this in mind. So our first objective, once again, has to be getting our personal credit right, and then setting up a corporation or an LLC, whichever you prefer. My preference is a corporation overall. The next thing would be going after business lines of credit cards. And the reason we start with business credit cards is because, just like with personal credit cards, it's stated income. And that brings me to our next point. When you're dealing with stated income credit cards, or stated income period, what it allows you to do is what is commonly referred to, or I refer to it as future casting. And future casting is simply this. It is January 25th, 2020. And so if a person were to put on a credit application, hey, I make $60,000 a year, and that $60,000 a year is based purely on what they made last year. But considering it's January 25th, that's BS, right? Because they don't know what they're going to make this year. They're predicating or basing their figures that they're putting on their application based purely on what they did last year. And they say, oh, I made 60 grand. So if you're gonna guesstimate what you made, why not guesstimate higher, right? So let's say that you're starting a new business, you're trying to do big things in this world, and you're saying that 2020 is going to be a massive year for you. So why not guesstimate that you're going to make 93,000 or 97,000, or if you're already making somewhere close to that, push it up another. If you're already making 90,000 or 80,000, why not make 123,000 or $118,000? So future casting is a very important part of your growth. And with the capital that you're going to be able to get or generate from these credit cards, you can actually make that come to life, right? You can bring that into fruition. And so why play? Just go ahead and start saying, well, look, if I'm putting down 60 grand or whatever it is that you made last year, go ahead and start setting yourself up for success as opposed to setting yourself up for what you've already had or failure. Because the facts are that it does take money to make some money. I mean, to make real money. I mean, obviously, I have started businesses with virtually nothing, but but I've had so much greater success. I know I'm saying that it's kind of an odd sentence, but I've had much greater success, I should say, when I've had capital to work with to make something happen. I mean, because it takes the burden, the stress off of you, um, of making your bills while you're trying to grow. Now, once again, yes, you can make a lot of money with starting from basic zero, meaning that you already have your you're working, you have your food covered, your rent covered, that type of thing. Now, if you have less than that and you're living on the street, then it's going to be virtually impossible, obviously. But if you have your basics already covered because of some type of income stream like a job, and then you say, well, now I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna make this business happen. I'm just gonna grind it out. Yeah, you could do that, because in truth, you are investing money. Maybe not a lot, but you are going to be investing money. But when you have more money, like what you could generate with business line of credit cards, I mean, it's just like you could do the most. There's an article that I had found, and they were talking about how much debt is in the world. And it was something, I don't quote me on this, but it was something like $290 trillion worth of debt in the world. And that brings my point home. If you notice around the world, the wealthiest of the wealthiest people, the wealthiest of the wealthiest countries have the most debt. Companies like Microsoft, Apple, countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, pick a country, and their debt is extreme. But when you look at poor countries, their debt is minimal. It takes money to make money. The United States economy is literally built on debt and smoke and mirrors. That's capitalism. Wealthy people, if you were to, take away their assets immediately, you would find out that they're still rich, probably wealthy, but not as wealthy as you would think, right? I mean, if you took away all of Bill Gates's stock in his company, what would he have left, right? So, I mean, he'd have assets. I'm sure he has a lot of other assets because he is, 50, 60, 80 billion dollars worth. But the key is that to get there, he's had to create a lot of debt and a lot of borrowing on that debt that is created assets, if that makes sense. So in other words, it's just a big cycle, and I want you all to start playing in that cycle. Poor people, broke people, average people, we all live in the same type of mentality because we're constantly told debt is bad, debt is bad. Where wealthy people, they are constantly living in a world of debt is supreme. You see the difference? They're wealthy and they're constantly utilizing OPM, other people's money, where the average person, it lives in a mindset of impoverishment. Oh my God, I can't have this debt. I just can't do that. I just can't be overwhelmed with that debt. And so that will keep us broke, busted, and disgusted. We need to change our mentality. Now, you can't go out and arbitrarily get a bunch of debt that, obviously you're not going to have a plan for. And so let me restate this. If you're going to go out and get a bunch of debt, like I'm going to teach you, how to do, you have to have a game plan, because like in my own scenario, there was a period of time when I had a lot of debt. I mean, a lot of debt. But then a couple of my primary things, which was I was a government contractor and I was making between 350 and 450 a year. And I also had a bunch of real estate. So I had like two things collapse on me simultaneously. So the government contracting gig, which I used to sell wheelchairs, hospital beds, all that kind of stuff, durable medical equipment to Medicare patients, right? So when I lost my ability to do that, actually I shut it down because I was just kind of pissed off and I was moving into another direction, which was becoming a overall government contractor. So anyways, the overall government contractor thing didn't work. I made a little bit of money, but not as much as I was making during the durable medical equipment. And then simultaneously, I had 9 pieces of property, and all that property, it was during the real estate meltdown. And so I was having a hard time making my payments. It was just a hot mess. I had at that point in time about $450,000 in credit cards, between myself and my wife. We had about that amount. So a lot of them I was the guarantor on, and then some of them she was the guarantor on. So with that $450,000 in credit cards, honestly, I had so much debt in credit that I didn't even activate a lot of those cards. I mean, I just had them sitting there, and then even the ones I activated, I just like, because it was just my outgo just on my credit card was like about $5,000 a month. And see, no one was let me back that up. I was going to say no one was telling me or giving me advice on what to do, but the truth of the matter is I kind of went into my own little shell of depression. Everything was going wrong. I was used to making a certain amount a month, and it wasn't happening. So ultimately, instead of me going out and seeking advice, I just kind of sat in my own little mind and just kept on going, downhill. Now, what I should have done, now, hindsight's 2020. Plus, you take the time and you learn more. So when you start learning all this stuff, and I had a wealth of knowledge, right? So you would have thought I would have excelled regardless. But there are pieces of knowledge I didn't have. So one of those pieces of knowledge is that if I was in $5,000 worth of credit card debt, I should have kept on pushing until I was in $20,000 worth of credit card debt a month. So it wasn't 5,000 in total. That was just my monthly payments on my credit cards. What I should have done literally is went out and created more and more and more debt, because that would have done two things. That would have allowed me to keep my properties, which today, having those 9 properties would have positioned me wonderfully, because it wasn't like the mortgages were that high, because most of my properties were down south, right? So I had properties in Augusta, Georgia, and I had properties in Columbia, South Carolina. And so if I had done what I was supposed to have done, but I just didn't know any better because I was in my own little mind, I would have literally have gone out and just created even more debt. And then do like I teach my students, which is when you create debt. So let's say if you create $100,000 in debt, then the first thing you need to do is take $25,000. I'm sorry, let me back up off of that. You should take a year's worth of payments, whatever that equates to, and sock it away in the bank and make your payments. So that way you are a year out before you have to concern yourself. And if it equals even, $25,000. So at the high end, $100,000 would be about $4,000 a month. And that depends greatly on, if you get a business card that has 0% interest for 6 months or a year, if you get, where you're starting to pay interest right off, or whatever the case may be. The idea is that you calculate it out, you put a year's worth, and let's just say it ends up being $40,000 out of that 100. We'll even say 45,000 out of, no, I'm gonna say 40. So make it easy math. 40,000 out of 100 gives me $60,000 to work with. You see the power of that? I have $60,000 that I can work with, keep myself afloat and keep on building, and not have to concern myself mentally with the debt necessary to pay those encumbrances, to pay the debt off. I get a whole year. Now, even more important, if I'm out there moving and grooving and I'm making my payments on time because the money's already sitting there, guess what else happens? I can go out and create another $100,000 worth of debt. And then another 100,000, and then another 100,000. And quite honestly, if you're doing that type of game plan, what it will do for you is it will allow you to get to a point where you can walk into an institution and get complete corporate financing, because during that time while you're making all these payments, all these business credit payments, they're being reported to your Experian business file and your Equifax business file, and in some cases to your Dun & Bradstreet. So what is that doing? What is that doing for you? That's going to make you look golden. I mean, like ridiculously golden. And so you will eventually place yourself in a position where you can go into an institution and say, this is my personal credit, this is my business, this is my corporate credit, and there's a point where the business and the corporate merge, right? Because after a while, your business credit will no longer need you as a guarantor. So I want to just kind of shift a little bit. You should think of business credit as your child. So your corporation as your child, or LLC. In the beginning, your corporation is like a 18-year-old child that you need to co-sign for. But within a couple or a few years, that child / corporation LLC will have built up enough on their own that you will no longer need to co-sign for it. And so you would be able to position yourself to sign your name on behalf of the business, but not have to put your social security number down anymore. And the credit granted to that business would be strictly based or predicated on this good standing of the business corporation LLC. And then when that happens, that's when it's really awesome, because when they run your Experian business, Equifax business, and your Dun & Bradstreet, what they're going to see is that you're phenomenal all the way across the board. So you can start going out and buying, buildings, and start buying, whatever, purely under your corporation, no longer having anything to do with you as a person. And it will, I mean, literally, let me just tell you, that's the point when you're able to start buying millions of dollars worth of stuff. That's what the people who are in the know do regularly, because they understand that debt is good. It's how you utilize the debt. Now, if you create debt and you go out and you buy I don't know, really nice car. Oh, I got to look fancy. I got to get this Land Rover. I got to get this Mercedes or BMW or whatever it is that you so the Cadillac truck or whatever. Then that's not debt being used properly. And we need to stay away from that. We need to shift our mindset. Okay, you guys with me? Awesome. So one of the things I have to move this little toolbar that is with the go to meeting thing so I can get to these links. One of the things that I want you guys to think about. So there's actually two things I'm gonna run by you real quick. The first is Pascal's 3D credit model, which is height, depth, and width. So with our personal credit, we want to focus on all three of those. So the height obviously is the height of your credit score. So whether it's a 600 or a 700 or 800, that's the height. The width is how many pieces of credit that you have on your credit file. So different people say different things, but I believe that you should have between 7 and 10 pieces of credit on your credit file in different types. So you want a store card, your cards, you want Visa, MasterCard, you want maybe a vehicle loan, just different types. Because if you ever look at your credit file, you go all the way down to the bottom. So like if you were to run your Experian personal credit file, you go to the bottom and it'll tell you about your credit mix. And it'll tell you poor, fair, or good. And if you have just all of one type of credit, you're probably going to be somewhere in the poor to fair range. So you want a good mix of credit. They look at all of that. The credit grantors look at all of that stuff. And so we want to make sure that we're giving them everything that they're asking for. And when you look at your credit bureau, they're literally going to tell you what you need to do to look better in their eyes. And all you have to do is just follow that. So many people come to me and they're like, well, hey, Pascal, I need to do something with my credit. My credit's really poor, and other than the fact that they might have some derogatories or whatever the case may be, I'm like, just read your credit file. They will literally break down and tell you what you need to do to improve it. I mean, it says it right on your credit file. Follow those instructions. This game, because credit is just a game, this game has rules to it, and we just need to simply follow the rules. So we want to have at least 7 good pieces of credit across our on our credit file. So that's the width, and the depth obviously is the age. Now, a lot of people don't have very aged pieces of credit, and so for those individuals, I say go out and get a seasoned trade line. It's not a hard thing to do. As a matter of fact, let me look up Marlon's number for those of you who need trade lines, and Marlon can help you out with that. So give me one hot second. Okay, so his name is Marlon McKinney, and his number is 818-577-8095. His other number is 818-892-1800. All right, so write that down. And for those of you who have paid for this call, you're going to get this recording by Monday anyway, so you'll be able to fast forward to this part. So that will get you your depth. If you don't have age, then you can buy a trade line or two, as old as you can afford to help you get that depth. and now you have that circle somewhat complete, right? Obviously, you don't want to have any derogatories either, but if you have derogatories, you can either call Marlon again and he'll help you with credit repair, or you can get the book Good Credit is Sexy, which is a book that I've been using for forever. Not as much as I used to, just simply because I don't bother with any type of credit repair, but it is a awesome book, and I've been utilizing it for years. Whoops, I'm sorry. Is Sexy, and the book is by Rachel Walsh. And I'm just saying, for the cost of the book, I think you should have it anyway. To be honest with you, it is one of the best books I've ever personally run across as far as credit repair goes. So Good Credit is Sexy. If you Google that book, and then one of the things that will pop up is the Credit Info Center bookstore. So it's going to say bookstore.credit-info-center.com/good-credit-is-sexy. That will take you to her place where you can not only buy the book, Good Credit is Sexy, but there's also, and the book is $14.99, but you can also buy her entire everything. So you can get the book, you can get the I think it's like 90 credit repair letters, you can get some workbooks, everything. It's like $29 for all these awesome credit repair letters that I got to tell you up front, I've had nothing but success with. Nothing but success with. I mean, obviously, not everything works for everybody, so I want to tell you that. But utilizing her letters, I've been able to remove bankruptcies. Let me clarify. I've been able to help people remove their bankruptcies from their credit files, charge-offs, repossessions, all kinds of stuff. And it's all in that book, Good Credit is Sexy. It is really a very powerful book. So let's move on. One of the things that I really want to go over with you guys on this call is what is called credit matching. So you can go to a place like, let me see here. Actually, let me go here. So you can use something like Credit Karma if you want. There are a lot of sites, but you know, Experian, you can use that, which is probably better. But Credit Karma can work for you as well. Credit matching is simply this. Let's say that when you, and you should, sign up with Experian Credit Monitoring, and there's a lot of reasons for that. One of them is that they have the Boost program, which will allow you to get credit for all of your common bills that you're paying. So every month you're paying your cell phone, right? So Experian Boost will give you credit for making payments on your cell phone. They'll also give you credit for paying your internet, paying your light bill, paying your gas bill. So anything that we can do to build out our personal credit file, we need to be doing. So that's why, it's one of the reasons why I suggest Experian, because it's just so awesome, right? I mean, think about it. You're paying your lights, your internet, your cell phone bill, you're paying that stuff every month. So why not start getting credit for it on, to show up on your personal credit file? So I'm in Credit Karma right now. So places like Credit Karma, I'm gonna give you some other places, but places like Credit Karma, for instance, their scoring system is crap. It's absolutely crap. It's usually way off, way off from what actually is your true credit score. But you can use places like Credit Karma to do what I refer to as credit matching. Well, everybody refers to as credit matching. And credit matching is just this. These algorithms in these different systems, like Credit Karma's, will tell you which credit cards you have the best opportunity to get, because they are basing what they're saying off of their algorithm, their credit algorithm, and what they know about the credit grantors algorithms. Does that make sense to you guys? So instead of just going out and applying for credit by the seat of your pants, we need to start doing a couple of things. And the first thing that you need to do is start credit matching. So you can use, once again, you can use this Credit Karma. They're going to give you what their idea of the best credit cards to apply for. And let's say, like for me right now, they're saying, according to my credit, Chase Sapphire Reserve, American Express, and I don't know, Bank of America, great for travel rewards, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so, and the list goes on. So we want to start looking for credit cards, excuse me, looking for credit cards that we appear to have the greatest chance of getting. And you need to do this for personal as well as for your business credit cards. So that's number one. Number two, we need to look for credit cards and or loans, right? This is across the board. We need to find credit cards or loans that will, how can I say this? I'm having brain fade. I am so sorry. That will do soft pulls. Oh my God, it would not come out. That will do soft pulls, right? And so basically, what you're going to do is you're going to take the credit cards that you have the credit match with, and then you're going to take those credit cards, you know, the top ones, and you're going to say, okay, well, who does soft pulls? So you can just basically type in credit cards that do soft pulls, soft credit pulls. And I got to move this little dealio so I can actually click on my little. And you're going to get a bunch of different websites that are going to give you that information. And the reason we want to do a soft pull, it doesn't matter what we're applying for, a loan or a credit card, is because if you do not get approved, they're not going to place that inquiry on your credit file. See the magic of that? That is like so awesome to me. So whether you're pulling a credit card application or a loan application, be it business or personal, you want to do a soft pull, man. You really do. Because why have that hard inquiry that can potentially take away 3 to 5 points away from your credit score when you can literally just do soft pulls? So a lot of these websites, I'm on Wallet Hub, and they have a list, right? It says 2020's best soft pull credit cards. And then they're just going to go down and tell you, you know, which ones. So they have online pre-approval check, and that's how a lot of them will refer to it, as an online pre-approval check. So American Express, Bank of America, Capital One, Chase, Citibank, Discover, USAA, US Bank, Wells Fargo. How crazy is that, right? All of these different places will give you a soft pull. Now, some of them do say that, let's see, minimum credit required. And they'll, oh my God, they'll even tell you what type of credit they're willing to take. That's really cool. And for places like USAA Bank, they'll tell you up front it's members only. US Bank is for existing customers. But nonetheless, you know, US Bank is more on the California side of the country. I don't think they're back east, but it's an awesome bank. US Bank. They're a mid-sized bank, and they tend to give out a lot of money. And with that said, I also want to bring up something else. You guys really should be looking at credit bureaus in your neighborhood, in your area, in your town, whatever, because mid-sized banks and credit unions are typically the best places to go after money, because they're in the business of lending money. Where you have the larger banks like Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, not so much. So just keep this in mind. I want to finish this with the soft pulls, and then I'm going to move on and show you guys some other stuff. I hope you guys are getting something out of this. It's really important to me personally that you guys are actually learning some actionable material, not just some airy-fairy BS. I need you guys to have practical material that you can use in order to change your existence. Like, not tomorrow, but right here today. I want you guys to have something that you can use and just really make some stuff happen. That's extremely important to me. So like I go on a lot of seminars myself, and it's just so much bullshit. It's just like all this, you know, like you got to do 50 gazillion things to make some crap happen. And I'm just like, what the hell? You know, I'm paying my good money, and none of it is actionable. And that's important. It needs to be actionable. I'm trying to give you guys stuff that you can take and use, like right here, right now, to change your life, to improve your existence. Okay, so once again, just Google. I mean, there's a wealth of soft pulls for almost any institution you can think of, right? So we're going to take it from the top. What are we looking for? We're looking for credit matches, right? We want to find cards that give us our best opportunity to get them. Then we want to do and it could be for loans as well, but then we want to do a soft pull instead of a hard inquiry. Just those two things alone are fire. So I'm going to give you guys something that I really don't give out to a lot of people. I've been doing it as of late, just a little bit here and there. But for those of you who are serious, I mean, like real serious, like you really want to make some stuff happen, I want you guys to go to nav.com, nav.com. Nav is a very, very, very powerful website. So nav.com. Now, what makes Nav so powerful is that with their credit match, whether it's for loans, whether it's for credit cards, it is fire. So a lot of my higher end clients will use NAV, but once again, I'm just gonna give it to you guys anyway. Because with NAV, they have a paid program, obviously. And that's why I said, for those of you who are serious, NAV will credit match you down. I mean, they will credit match you and give you the percentage of the opportunity that you'll have to actually get the credit. And then once once they give you this, like once again, right now, they're saying, they're listing out for me, the Chase Freedom, they're saying I have a 97% match factor with the Chase Freedom card. You see how powerful this is? 97% match factor. So they're taking what they know of Chase's algorithms for each of their different offers, and they're calculating that out, and then they're telling me that I have a 97% chance of getting this car. Also, let's see, the city, they're saying I have a 96% chance of getting the city card, and then a 96% chance of getting the Discover It card. And just I can define it a little bit different, so they would give me even more options. But I mean, look at this. I mean, they even tell you, so Capital One, obviously anybody can get that. But Bank of America, 96, 96, 96, all these different cards, Quicksilver, 96. But then they go down to, let's see, I don't want to bore you guys with this, but I just want to go down so that they can tell, okay. So they have a card that they're saying I have a 0% match factor with, which is Credit One Bank Platinum Visa for rebuild. Oh, well, I am so sorry. This one, the reason I have a 0% match factor is because it's for rebuilding credit. That's why. So that's not an area I should be playing in. But for me, they go down to 92% match factor for the Bank of America Premium Rewards Card. Are you guys catching this? We only want to apply for things where we have a good opportunity of getting it. So with NAV, you can do both business and personal, and they'll tell you what your match factor is for any type of card you're looking for. So I'm looking for a business credit card. They're saying I have a 98% chance of getting this American Express Blue cash card, right? They have loans. I mean, just you can click under financing, and they give you a list of places where you can get money, and a high match factor or a low match factor. So I wouldn't do it, but well, I'm not going to say I wouldn't do it. But they have me at 96% with Blue Vine, 95% with Headway Capital. I don't know what that is. Another Blue Vine opportunity on deck. These are kind of garbage ones. I'm not really a fan of them. Kiva. And they tell you the funding range, they tell you the whole 9 yards. So I want to move on because we're running out of time. So keep in mind, nav.com, very important, you guys. There's a site that I want you guys also to list in your to lock it in on your computer, and it's called Best Cash Cow. Now the reason this site is so important is because utilizing this site, they have a lot of credit cards that they're linked to, as well as loans, where they will running through their site, and NerdWallet, also the same thing. They will give you information on loans, be it house loans, on personal loans. Pick the type of loan, where they will let you know, oh, okay, well, you can do this, and it'll be a soft pull. So you can't beat that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You put in your amount that you're looking for, they're going to give you a guide and a gauge. So best cash cow. And the other thing that's so important about best cash cow is that they also will give you a list of all the not credit bureaus, I'm sorry. We were just talking about it. I'm trying to do too many things at once because we're running out of time. So, my brain is just moving ultra fast. So I do apologize, you guys. So, but anyways, if you go to Best Cash Cow, you can find every credit union in the country on Best Cash Cow. It's really an awesome site, and everybody should have it. And these are sites that people just don't know about, right? And you should really have these sites in your arsenal if you're serious about building credit. So it just, what do you want, an auto loan? You want a personal loan? It's just, they have a link that says find a bank, right? And so you can find a bank and they'll give you the criteria of the banks. I mean, it's ridiculous. This site is so powerful. So the other thing I want to do real quick, so we please just go to Best Cash Cow. Please sign up for NAV. It'll help you change your existence. Sign up for Experian credit monitoring service. It's well worth the $29 or whatever it is a month. So let me get rid of Best Cash Cow here and utilize Credit Karma, places like that, only if you're for information purposes. Because the thing I am going to say about Credit Karma is their scores are garbage, right? But they have so much information, it's just ridiculous, and you should be utilizing that information. Like, for instance, Credit Karma is honestly just one of the places I want to learn something about credit, and different facets. I go to Credit Karma because their knowledge base is huge. It's just ridiculously huge. They have a superior knowledge base because this is how they make their money. They partner with all these different entities, and what they do is when you utilize one of these entities, then they get paid for it. So they're giving out a wealth of knowledge to keep people on their website. So you want to really, really, really peep out Credit Karma and just utilize it not for their scores, but for their knowledge base. So let's get rid of that. We went through Good Credit is Sexy. NAV, I just, once again, I can't say enough about that. So you really want to rock NAV. And don't forget that when we're applying for credit, we're looking for credit, we gotta do the whole oh, this is another thing I'm not sure if I said it properly, but when you're looking at your credit file, one of the things that you should always do is, let's say out of your 3 credit bureaus, you have a 700 Experian, a 700 Equifax, and a 750 TransUnion. So TransUnion is obviously your highest credit score. So what we want to do with that is we want to go out and Google credit, whoops, I'm sorry, credit, how should I put that? Cards that only pull I'm a slow typist. So credit cards that only pull. Now, as soon as you put that in there, you're going to get pop-ups that are going to say credit cards that only pull TransUnion, credit cards that only pull Equifax, credit cards that only pull Experian, right? So once again, we're basing this off of TransUnion being our highest. So you just Google credit cards that pull TransUnion because we always want to work with our highest credit score. Does it make sense to you guys? And then once you load it up, you've got an X amount of credit on that. Then you go and you apply for credit on your next highest score, and then your next highest score. You get that? Because what you're doing, because often these places that will only pull from one credit file will typically only report to that one, and if they report to anything else, it'll just be one other, right? So not all three. So what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to quadruple the amount of credit that you're able to get without hurting your debt to income ratio is bad, because you're not showing it across the board. You're only showing it on one credit card. I'm sorry, on one credit bureau. So you might have, if you look at your credit now, you're going to see, well, I have this XYZ card and it's showing up on TransUnion and Equifax, but it's not showing up on Experian. Or you'll have something else that's showing up just on Experian and not the other two, or however the combination goes. You see the magic of that? So that is one way of pushing out your entire credit position. So instead of you positioning yourself so that you're only able to get, I don't know, let's call it $50,000 in credit cards on your personal, you could potentially quadruple that because they're not all reporting to the same bureaus. Now, as I mentioned before, what I would do personally is get to a certain point with your personal credit and then turn around and start going after business lines of credit cards. You can set up a corporation in your home state for a little of nothing. Are you guys catching all this? I mean, if you have questions, jump in the chat or speak up, because this call is starting to run over. So we're going to end this in a minute, but I want to make sure you guys have actionable material that you can start using today. Okay, any questions? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, you guys can be shy if you want to. I'm here to teach you everything that I possibly can. But if you're shy, you don't have anything to ask, then I don't know where I'm leaving you out, right? Because even though I'm giving you all this gold, there might be something very specific to you that you're not catching. And so if you need help in that very specific manner, you need to go ahead and ask. Because if not, I'm just going to go ahead and get off the call. It's 10:04 California time, and I can, I need to run to a conference out in LA, so I'm just going to call it then. So, anyways, thank you guys very much for coming on this call. I'm truly hoping that you guys were able to get some actionable material, information that you can use to change your life. I mean, in the big way. So thank you again. I'm really appreciative, seriously. And I will talk to you guys soon. You guys, if you are interested, you can give me a call. My number's on the screen. For those of you who have logged in on the screen, it's 951-515-4728. And we do have a coaching program. It's $4,999. In other words, $5,000. We do take payments, but if you really want to really just blow up, change your existence, build a business, of your dreams, then I'm here to help you with that. So please, if you want more information, you want to grow, you can buy my book. You can contact me for that if you'd like, which is only 27 bucks. It's the book I've been showing the whole time, basically, which is Credit Building Masterclass, 27 bucks. If you want one of our larger programs or one of our video coaching programs, give me a call, 951-515-4728. Once again, thank you guys so much, and I am going to end this call. Take care.